Well, hello there. This is Graham from the Carnivore Transformer channel. Still striving to become a carnivore and transforming. Right, trying to still empowering my plate to see a better me. And yes, it's been a while since my last update. So let me just get into it. My last update, as you all remember, I was in hospital, but I'm going to go just a tad bit in the past and just speak about what happened. I did go visit the doctor, the specialist, and we did have a discussion about carnivore. I felt very good about our discussion. However, there were certain things that came out of that conversation. My blood pressure was high, 160 over 100, and he was a bit concerned. However, I said it might be the white collar syndrome because I do have that once I sit in a doctor's surgery. So that was the one thing. The other thing was the cholesterol numbers was high, and he was concerned about the LDL number, which was high. It was at 8.6. He was concerned about that, and he said, "Okay." And I've explained to him that carnivore does that to your numbers, so and he should be looking at the triglycerides and the HDL. However, at that moment, at that time, my triglyceride was also high. So yes, Inch me were worrying as well about having this pain in my head sitting right there, having that pain as well. And that happened since January. So all in all, he gave me see me in a month's time, and lo and behold, 2 weeks, no, a week before my visit. Um, and I would say on Father's Day, had a nice Father's Day, and things just started to feel not right during the evening. I felt I had a wind, and I went to go sleep and woke up, yeah, midnight, and wasn't feeling too well, having some chest pains, breathing heavy, and worrying what's wrong with me, and then started to feel dizzy and thought, is this the end? Woke up my wife, she assisted. The funny part is I couldn't lay because I couldn't breathe. I had to sit up. And she gave me something to drink, some tea, hot beverage, and um, calmed down. Blood pressure was high, I can tell you that. Blood pressure was high, and I was worried. So eventually I got to sleep, woke up the morning, still uncomfortable. Like I said, my head was spinning. I was thinking, am I losing it? Am I going to lose it? And things were just not right with me. So I carried on during the day um, with this feeling, coping, and thinking that it's going to go away. Eating not too much, and yeah, it was just like a nightmare for me at that time, and I was a bit worried, really worried. And further through the evening side, I was worried. Am I going to have another episode of this? And because I'm not feeling well, and I told my wife, listen, yeah, I need to go to the hospital. There's something wrong. There's truly something wrong. So I got to the hospital. I got my booked myself in, and before I can now be admitted, they checked my blood pressure, and it was over 188 over 110, which was high. So I waited, and then they said I must come inside to the emergency, and there I laid on a bed for a while, And then they talked about they're gonna contact the doctor that I've last seen, specialist, and he then told them what to do. So I got an EKG, I've been put on a drip and been placed in eye care. And that's when um, I was hospitalized, sent up to the room, my own private room with my own sister there, looking after me, checking me hourly and my numbers during the night. So obviously, the discomfort I was feeling is like a bad headache. It felt like my head want to explode. They put me on this drip, and this drip should bring my blood pressure down. So it took 3 days, 3 days to get this blood pressure down. Eventually, it got down, and I was like happy. And doctor spoke with, and in the meanwhile, while I've been gone through tests, they did an X-ray test at me coming in of my chest because I was complaining about the chest pain. Um, so they focused on the heart. Um, then they did some sonar testing, EKGs. Every so now and then, blood was taken from me, and yeah, it was quite an experience for me being hospitalized for, I'm not going to say the first time, but for the second time. And this time it was like a worrisome one. And yeah, things wasn't looking up. I was more tensed up and more worried that family came to visit, to put on a good face. Um, and but yeah, I was worried seeing my wife and my kids worried in their faces, but they tried to keep up the good face. And yes, it made me remember of my parents as well, and my brother, since it's the heart, um, because of my father having a heart attack in his early years, triple bypass, um, mom having a stroke. Second one was the one that ended her. Um, then my brother recently, um, as I've got the news that he also passed away from cardiac arrest. So things was just going in through my mind, and yeah, I was worried. And then I went to for a nuclear scan, and within the nuclear scan they picked up something, and the doctor diagnosed me with ischemia heart. um, and I was like, okay, we got a diagnosis, now we know. And less than 10% plaque, so which he said is treatable. So yes, at that time he re he mentioned again about my cholesterol being high, and yes, he's gonna put me on a statin. So statin will then work off the cholesterol number to normal. So I was like, what now? What now? I'm here in hospital. What now? Can't fight this. I have to listen. So I agreed taking a statin. There are other medications, but very expensive, so I had to agree on taking a statin. Later on, right after the 3 days when my blood pressure I was being monitored off the drip, and my blood pressure fluctuated during the night. The next day, I think it was the Friday, I was like on a 24-hour off the drip and monitoring, and things seem to be fairly, I would say average, not normal, between normal and average, or what they say according to your age, blood pressure. And then when doctor saw my BP for the last 3 sessions, it was like normal. And he said, Graham, on the Friday I can leave the hospital being discharged. And I was happy. So everything started okay. I've been given a medication. Obviously, you now know I have the statin. Then I've been given medication where it thins the blood, an aspirin, and then something that expands a medication that expands the vessel so that the blood can flow through. Right. So drinking those meds, got the meds, drink those meds on the Saturday morning. I had this warm sensation over my chest. Not a good one, not a good one. I was feeling again in a state. But I felt the medication, it's the medication. Can't go to the hospital now, the medication. So I've carried through Saturday and coming into Sunday, I decided to slash the one medication to half because I've read up on it and I'm like, okay, so there's like a side effect. You will feel funny and all these things. So slashed it. So for the Sunday, which was Father's Day, I was on half. And the Monday, I was on half. Alright, so I was doing okay, you know. No, my incident happened on Father's. Right, so the Monday I was doing good. So coming in Tuesday, bit of a hectic day. Didn't work. Work from home, obviously. And things were okay. The afternoon, fetching my wife, and I was like driving, and then all of a sudden, on the highway, all of a sudden, boom, something from here just like went boop, and my whole body shifted into some different. I was looking for air, I was looking for wind, I was looking to cool down, and I was breathing, looking for air. My wife's like, what's wrong? And I had this spell over me. My head was like tingling and it feels like things are walking in my head here, you know. And I felt it in the hospital. It's like my blood is flowing. And I did ask the doctor what about my head, and he said, no, it's the medication, it's the drip. So yeah, all those things happened. Got home onto the BP machine, blood pressure machine, and my blood pressure is 163 over 100. That was around about 5 o'clock the evening. Right. I then was a bit worried why the sudden spike. It was then normal. And the morning I had a full dose of that and nothing happened. Oh, jeez. Full dose of that tablet that opens up the arteries. And for me, it was just strange that my blood pressure went up, 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 and I had a aspirin, half a aspirin, came down and up, increasingly up. And I was worried and I said to my wife, I think I need to go book myself in again. Right, booked myself in. BP was sky high. Once again, I was tailing at 180 over 115. So yeah, breathing again. And my head is pumping again. So things didn't seem good to me. Right, this time around, I was thinking that this might be the end of me. Um, because I don't know what's happening. Is my head gonna explode? Am I having a stroke? And I was laying there and got admitted into the into a high care, but this time with some people around. But you got your dedicated nurse, which will look after 2 or 3 patients and on an hourly basis. So writing all the numbers down from the terminals that is monitoring a person. And yes, as I was lying there, my BP came down to an acceptable level, where they say acceptable. But it was again erratic. However, the nurse that took over, he dropped my drip, which was on a 201, and it stayed there for a while. So the next morning, when the doctor saw me, he was like, "Now, what happened?" And I told him, and he says, "Okay, let me do some tests. We're gonna test you for your heart again, but this time around, we're gonna do a CT scan on your head because you say it's your head. We're gonna do another one, and we're going to do a CT scan on your abdominal." So that happened, and the next day, he came back and said, "There's something wrong in the abdominal, the adrenal glands." Right. And at that time, he also mentioned that what you are feeling, it might be pheochromocytoma. Might be that, but let's rule that also out. You will have to do some testing as well on that. And that's when I stayed over the weekend at the hospital, eating hospital food, obviously, which is very nice. It's more like a sort of sad keto type of diet that they have, Mediterranean, sorry. I need to say that, a Mediterranean type of diet that they give patients. Um, and you can choose what you want. So most of my meals were on the meaty side, but I got the Mediterranean side as well of things. So as I've waited now, these results, the final test that I had was the MRI scan on my abdominal, just to make sure what the doctor was like saying, and then the final was the urine test, just to make sure that he wants to rule out, or he wants to make sure that he diagnosed me correctly, because when you have pheochromocytoma, means they're gonna have to operate. Medication second, operation was the first option. So I had to rule that out first. And then the test of the urine, or the test of the MRI, indicated there is something wrong with my adrenal glands. And the pheochromocytoma test the urine, to see if there's any hormones present, um, came negative, which was like good news. So my adrenal glands was whacked. What I mean by whack was it was malfunctioning. It was sending out the stress signals to the brain, which is the head, if I don't even have any stressful situations. It was doing things which it's not supposed to be. So fight and flight, everybody know you either fight or you flee. That was whacked as well. That wasn't happening. Anxious, being anxious. And I never had the experience of being anxious, and it was one of those things where I was like, what's happening? And this sudden breathing, needing oxygen and all that, is my blood pressure. So this adrenal glands control also my blood pressure. Sudden spike in blood pressure, adrenal glands. So something is whacked with there. And I went to go read up on it with Carnivore, and there are certain things that I needed to avoid. Like if I can think top of my head, the first thing that I love to do was fasting. I need to avoid that for now. Second thing, I love to have some beef jerky or biltong. I have to avoid that for now, right? The saltiness, it regulates that, but if my adrenal glands is a bit whack, I have to like cut down, but feel the way and listen to my body. And it's all about listening to my body. But for now, my adrenal glands is unstable, hence the pressure in the head because it's sending the signals to the brain. This is what's happening. The brain reacts, the body reacts to the signals in the brain, and henceforth all these things. As for my heart, yes, doctor diagnosed me with ischemia heart, and I need to be on something to control my cholesterol. And yes, and look after my adrenal glands, get that functioning properly again. So we've put me off for some recovery time, and I've been resting. I've been resting and thinking of what really happened. And I do have to admit, 2024, beginning of 2025 was hectic. And I can say that I must admit it, that I didn't really mourn my brother's death, didn't really mourn it properly. So all these things came crashing down on my system, and all these worries, all the stress came crashing down. And I do have to admit it to myself that I'm only human, and these things can affect a person in different ways. Not everybody is the same. So yeah, that is my story, the reflection. And you know what? The word of God, when I opened it up, it said, "Be still and know that I am God." And my mind was wandering all over the place, feeling a sense of sorrow, laying there, my family watching, my wife, my kids is watching me. I don't know what's going in their mind, and I'm thinking, yeah, is this the end? Um, and worrying. And now that I know I that my adrenal glands and I think my nervous system in my head is a bit on the alert, um, I had to take some action. So the doctor also recommended two supplements that I need to drink. The one is ashwagandha, ashwagandha root, if you can read it, ashwagandha root. That's the one, and the other one is magnesium glycinate. Using one, so the ashwagandha root is for the morning. On there is a small brain, is to help my brain, my cortisol levels, controlling that balance, energy, and cognitive health. Yes, I think carnivore diet can do that for me as well, but I think I need a bit of supplement for that purpose. Then the magnesium glycinate is for me to sleep better, um, to have no worries, to just chill in the evening, because that's what it is. Be still and know. Be still, go chill, my friend. And just to chill out. And yeah, things, I think, doing that for this week, drinking my meds, seeing my blood pressure is like normal, like the 120/80, that the person sometimes a bit lower on the systolic, which was so high, makes me happy, makes me feel good. I'm just taking it easy. I'm not going out and doing things which might hurt me, and just taking it easy and resting while still doing work from home, which is not stressful. Um, that's how I see it, and I'm just happy that things are just coming into play again, that I can continue with my carnivore. And here's the thing, I know you guys are wondering. Like I said, I'm a carnivore transformer trying to transform still. I'm still in that process of transforming. I think the N=1 testing, we have an answer, what is wrong, and trying to fix that area, the adrenal glands, to fix that area so that I can operate properly. Yes, I think it was stress related, and I'm just glad, And yes, here's the next thing. Thank you to the those. Now I'm going to go family, friends, carnival community. I want to thank you all for your prayers, church community. Thank you for the prayers, Um, knowing that people are praying for you for your healing, and you praying not alone, is such a big feeling inside, and I thank you guys and I appreciate you. And yes, and it's so sad, to read or to hear, um, that a fellow carnivore, also passed away, in his sleep, Alex Cannon. Um, it's a small tribute. He's a nice guy. I've met him once during his UK live stream when he needed help, so I raised my hands, um, to just help in a sense of getting that first stream. I don't know if it was the first stream, but getting that stream going. We we got to meet a few people, like Lauren and Kent, Carnivore, and there was others as well. But the best thing is Alex was just amazing. He was great on that session, and the emails he sent to me afterwards was just amazing. So, um, rest in peace, Alex, and to your family. My prayers are with you guys, the Cannon family, and the Carnival community who knew Alex. And all I can say is be strong. It's not an easy walk. When someone passes away, it affects you differently. And yes, and I thank the Lord for Alex, who could have, um, spread his message, because yes, he was an inspiration to me as well. When I heard about the 65-year-old carnivore, and he has black hair and I'm all grayer, I was impressed with that, and the way he looked. And yes, I understand where comments come from when people say you look younger than your age. So yeah, some good memories. But yeah, once again, I say thank you to the community that is always there. I want to shout out a few people. Sandy, thank you, Sandy. You've been constantly there. D. Lee, all those that have commented on my videos, on my post. I thank you guys. You know you are. I don't have it in front of me to call out your names, but, Sandy feels so like that caring person, so I had to give her a shout out. And the praise and people are like, and the people that are asking about my health, I thank you guys. You guys are amazing, and I feel sometimes so guilty not posting a video, but sometimes Why do we post a video is for content, and sometimes I don't have any content. So yeah, I hope you guys understand, but I needed to update you on my whole experience. Yes, at the end of the day, I felt like I was dying. Felt like it's the end, but the Lord is true. He pulled me through this whole experience, and all praise goes to Him for the experience, for the joy I have this morning, this afternoon, this evening, um, just to give Him all the praise and all the glory, Um, Part of me is also the Christian part, and yes, um, being not in church and worshiping Him because I'm a singer as well in church, um, felt like there's something missing. I'm not doing anything for the Lord. And however, I know I'm again off the topic, but this is carnivore. However, in hospital, the people I've met were so amazing, the patients and the sisters and nurses there. We call our nurses sisters as well. Um, and they were so amazing, and each and everybody listened to the story. And what is my story? Carnivore. It was about carnivore has changed my life since 2023, and now this happens. That's how my story started. So yeah, I am happy. I'm happy that I can once again make a video for you guys and just tell my story, because it's all about the story. And I'm on the journey of healing my body. And as you know, we support that one. No, that one. That one. That one. That one. We support healing humanity. I support healing humanity. And the movie that will be coming out hopefully soon. But yeah, thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed this update. And if you have any questions, comments, put it in the comments below. I like reading those comments. It's just amazing to read those comments. Um, I didn't reply recently. I just give it an okay and a heart because I've agreed with those comments, and I thank you. This is Graham from the Carnivore Transformer channel saying again, empower your plate, enrich your life.